really was inspired when I knew that Reya Manna could be with us. That's kind of what gave me the thought for the show because she literally sings to the earth. Um, she, of course, has the Songkeeper School that many of you have participated in, and her relationship to Mother Earth is it's just so precious and beautiful. So, welcome back, Reya. It's good to have you with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Scott. What an honor to be here, and especially talking about this topic.
It's your cup of tea for sure. Absolutely. Um, and would you be willing to get us off to start with maybe an invocation and a musical offering?
Absolutely. Um, so, when we are working with the earth, we are working with this field of coherence of which we're all a part. So, I'd love to invite us to just take a moment and tune in together to connect in to each other's hearts and the heart of our Mother Earth. So, let's rub our hands together. I love to rub the hands because all the energy meridians of the body run through the palms. The the healing energy center, we have a healing energy center in our hands, and our hands are an extension of our heart. The heart is the seat of love and compassion, and our hands are the extension of that love into action. So we're saying, here I am available to be that conduit of love, of grace into the world. And then shake out the hands. And let's just close our eyes for a moment, connecting with our heart, connecting with our breath, feeling ourselves arrive into this here and now moment. And tuning in with our heart, with our beating heart, with the light within our beating heart. And feel the connection with each of us in this sacred circle today, this circle of hearts. And extend that circle outward to include the light workers, the rainbow warriors, the ancient ones, the ancestors, all the beings that are here stewarding the great awakening, feeling ourselves in sacred circle with these beings, feeling our hearts illuminated, joined, and then connecting down with the heart of our Mother Earth, seeing her heart like a crystalline star. And then feeling the energy come back up to our own hearts and connecting in with the heart of the sun, creating a beautiful sacred geometry, opening a column of light to connect the heavens and the earth. And in this sacred space, we invite in the directions of the north, the south, the east, the west, the archangels who guard these gates. We invite in our Pachamama, her elementals, her kingdoms, her angels to tend to our body temples. We invite in the sun, the moon, the stars, the great architect of the universe, the truth of who we are, that we may operate in harmony with the heavens and the earth and all beings. We cast a circle of protection around ourselves, inviting into this sacred space only that which is for our highest and best. And coming back to our hearts, connecting in with your own intention. What is your intention here today, and what is your intention in relation with our Mother Earth? Would you like to deepen your relationship, know her more? So, stating that intention, just in the stillness of your being. And take some deep breaths here. And I'm going to move into a song. And the song is called Hollow Bone. And it's an invocation for us to step into that offering of ourselves as an instrument of peace of the divine. And in offering ourselves as this vessel, this vehicle for divine intelligence to flow through us, may we also name into the field that all is well. Because a big piece of working with the Mother Earth and honoring our Mother Earth is enhancing her natural principles of nature, which are all is well, which is of truth, of connection, of reciprocal relationship. Lord, make me a hollow bone, return me to your song. Sing through me the harmony that brings us to unity. Lord, make me a hollow bone, return me to your song. Sing through me the harmony that brings us to unity. Lord, make me a hollow bone, return me to your song. Sing through me the harmony that brings us to unity. The divine intelligence of the universe has gathered itself, creating the world. The divine intelligence of the universe has gathered itself, creating the world. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Lord, make me a hollow bone, return me to your song. Sing through me the harmony that brings us to unity. The divine intelligence of the universe has gathered itself, creating the world. The divine intelligence of the universe has gathered itself, creating the world. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. I go in the name of the Most High. I sing in the name of the Most High. I go in the name of the Most High. to unity.
Absolutely exquisite.
Thank you.
It's so important. I love how you sing it about being a hollow bowl. My mantra for 30 years has been, may I be a clear channel for spirit to flow through. And I think all of us in our own unique way, Desiree, I see, acknowledging, it's like if we can all learn to do that, and whatever analogy we want to use, to really let spirit or our higher self, our God self, flow through us and move through us. If we all, when we get to the place where we're all doing that, then we will be experiencing heaven on earth all the time.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you for that, Scott. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, we're at this threshold point, right? This awakening world, this turning point in human consciousness. And many of the prophecies point to that. In the Mayan calendar, we've had the end of a 26,000-year cycle. We're stepping into a new 26,000-year cycle. Vedic astrology refers to the coming of the Sat Yuga, this age of peace and truth, and this time of universal consciousness where we'll have harmony across the world, throughout the world. And I believe a big piece of that is this unity consciousness, this we mentality, where there is a truth coming through the ethers, coming through the field, very much emanating through the ground beneath our feet, through our connection with Mother Earth. And that invites us into deep relationship with all of us as one being, one body. And so, offering that prayer of offering ourselves as this hollow bone tunes us into divine intelligence, which when divine intelligence works through all of us, then we are like pieces of a puzzle that finally got put together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love for you to share kind of how you came around to start singing to the earth. How did that evolve? And tell us about that journey, because I think it's just so beautiful.
Thank you for that, Scott. Gosh, we'll see what comes out of my mouth this time. Not in terms of how the journey goes.
Well, that's because you're a hollow bones.
Speaking to the moment. Well, when I was a little girl, I fell in love with God. And I would sing to God at 5 years old and offer my food and my water and lived in the spirit of devotion. And I came into that through music. And my parents had just gotten divorced, and my dad got remarried to a born-again Christian woman, and they take me to these charismatic churches where it's just off the hook, the praise and gospel singing. And so I started singing to God from a really young age, but was conditioned to sing to this God outside of myself. And, fast forward many years, and I was in my first South American medicine ceremony, and I saw the shaman singing the healing to the people. And it was like this light bulb went off. Like I knew there was another way. I always knew that there was other things you could do with singing and song, other than you sing to God outside yourself, or you stand on a stage and you perform for a quiet audience. Well, now my world started to be expanded to see that you could actually sing a healing. And in that same ceremony, I was shown that I had a role to play in honoring the feminine, the earth, the water, the women, all things feminine. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I love God the Father. Like, I am Christian. Like, what do you even mean? And that just opened up this journey of subtle messages, subtle transmissions. In 2013, I started sun gazing. And I would go outside before dawn, stand with my bare feet on the ground, drink the energy of the sun through my body, and send blessings to the earth. I thought it was a great idea to kind of reset me before my birthday was coming up in a few weeks. Well, very unexpectedly, 10 days into that process, the earth started speaking back. showing me that all wisdom from all time was contained in the energetic field of the earth and in our energetic field. And we could tune in to that wisdom through building relationship through sending blessings to the earth, sending love, honoring the earth, acknowledging her presence, singing to the earth, of course. And that turned into this period of 5 years of receiving these messages, which I turned into a book, The Awakening World, The Return of the Divine Feminine. And then, kept on with my life, singing, teaching. I was a yoga teacher. I was doing events, do transformational life coaching, lead retreats. And then COVID hits and everything shuts down. So I'm living in the mountains of Topanga in Los Angeles. And I have nobody to sing for, nowhere to go. So in the morning, to do my morning prayers and songs, I would go outside, and I was surrounded by this beautiful landscape of mountains, and I would sing to the mountains. And after a little while of that, I was reminded deeply how much the land loves our interaction with it, how much the land loves our song. And it just inspired so much curiosity in me. I started studying ley lines and sacred sites and the geomagnetics of certain places on earth. And I took a workshop with Freddie Silva in Sedona in person during COVID. It was so refreshing to be at an in-person unmasked workshop during that time. And even further inspired me in this course of singing to nature. Well, I was working an online job at the time, and I was feeling really strongly called to quit my job and to go sing to sacred mountains. Well, if any of you have ever had a kind of calling like that, or even an idea like that, you might say, well, this doesn't make any sense. How am I going to support myself by singing to sacred mountains? I can't possibly do that. So it was 3 months of deep struggling with myself until I kind of got backed into a wall where the idea I had for how things were going to work wasn't working anyway. So I said, okay, well, what if I just listen to myself instead of trying to do everything to please everyone else? What if I follow this strong prompting? So that day I quit my job, and right away I was invited to lead a women's retreat in the Ko'olau Mountains of Oahu, Hawaii. I was invited to lead a private retreat in the Grand Tetons. I then went to the Chiricahua Mountains in eastern Arizona to sing to those mountains. I was in Sedona, and I sang to the mountains. And during that time, I received so much information, including the name of my program that I now teach, the Songkeeper School. And it's this journey of restoring the memory of who we are through singing to the earth, and how to sing to the earth, how to build that relationship with Gaia, how to sing to the water, how to work with ancestral healing, all through the use of sound and song. And so a very unexpected outcome of that, I didn't know what was going to come next, as often happens with the promptings of spirit. It's like in the tarot, the Fool card. The Fool trusts, has his little satchel and steps off the cliff, and you don't know if anything's coming next. And so that's how I got, that was kind of my journey into this work. And, I've really seen through that time the capacity of singing to the land, how that connects us in with this field of responsiveness. Many of us, we may struggle feeling alone or feeling isolated. And yet when we step outside, there's a whole natural world that is completely listening to us, completely responding to us. Trees can move to touch us. The wind can blow at our request. The sun shines, rainbows come out. The natural world is such a beautiful example of how beloved we are of the universe. And in these times we're in, how I've experienced it is that we're living inside of a great spiritual deficit. That the original people, cultures of old, they understood that before you take anything, that you first give. You first make an offering. You first ask permission. So with the Industrial Revolution and who knows how long, we've been in this mindset of extraction where, no, you don't have to give anything first. You just take it. And when you take it, from the physical world without acknowledging that there's a spiritual world, what happens is a deficit begins to grow. And now we see that in the deficit of our economy, the deficit of our mental health, the deficit of our relationships, of our happiness. And that's because we have this tremendous void in the spirit world where we haven't been giving back, and yet we've been receiving so much. So when we sing to the earth, when we tend to the earth, when we connect with the earth, we are in part giving back, filling that void, returning to source, the source of all that we have. So I'll just take a little pause.
I just love your story. It's so beautiful. And I just want to riff on, you followed a crazy idea. You followed something that is outside of what we've been programmed and taught and trained in the civilized world, and you really dropped into listening, and the way that it has responded, the way that your life is moving forward. It's so beautiful to watch, and it's such an inspiration. Yeah. And I love what your basic premise of giving back to the earth. And what you're saying, it's true. I mean, for so long, humankind, especially Western culture, take, 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 and one could even say raping the earth. And just the whole male paradigm, that has just done such a terrible job of leadership or lack of leadership. And so I just really appreciate who you are, the way you think, and the way you put it into action, Reya.
Thank you, Scott. And one thing I would say to that is it's not the male paradigm that's the problem. Our natural polarities are the female and the male. It's the distortion field.
Yeah.
And, what's been coming through so strongly recently is in my classes, there's one of the classes I teach for the sun and for the masculine and Father God. And there's a song that we sing, which is for blessing the men. In recognition that inside this field of distortion, the men have been the slave labor of the commerce of the system. There has been a tremendous conditioning put upon the masculine, and then we all suffer. So, for us to come back to wholeness, we need the masculine feminine. I mean, all of nature is the coming together of the masculine and feminine to create life. And Gnostic teaching, they say that it's the earth is this representation of the truth of creation, which is the Mother, Father, God coming together and creation being born out of that. So it's very dear and close to my heart that the fault doesn't lie with the men. The fault doesn't lie with the masculine paradigm. The fault lies with this distortion field where we've all been led astray. We've been led down concrete paths in rubber shoes where our feet don't touch the earth. And, our eyes are seeing a computer screen more than they're seeing the light of the sun. So as we return to the earth, restore our relationship with her, the distortion field begins to melt away. The overburdening of our body with EMFs, with all these subtle frequencies, begin to wash away. As we return to the earth and hopefully are able to eat in natural food and to drink pure water, then we're not being exposed to the bombardment of hormones that are also manipulating the way that we're seeing the world. So I just wanted to share that because it makes me so sad sometimes when I see a good man like you and talking about, the ills caused by the men, because I wouldn't assign blame like that. I would assign it to the distortion field, and that just shows why it is so important for us to connect with the earth, to connect with these fields of unity, of peace, of truth. May we, we are spiritual beings, and we are designed to be in motion, in action. And how do you take a spiritual being out of their power? You invalidate them. You tell them they're wrong. You tell them they're bad. And as soon as you tell them they're wrong and bad, they stop acting. They stop their motion. They stop power. So we need all of us right now to utilize our power for good into the world.
Brilliantly stated. I stand corrected. At the moment it came out of my mouth, I said that didn't turn out right.
But thank you for
Um,
saying that, because there's so much talk like that. I hear it all the time, how bad the men are, and I just want to cry.
yeah,
Because the men I know, like you, Scott, are beautiful, beautiful, kind-hearted men who give their life dedicated to higher principles.
and I meant to say the dominant male patriarchy, but I really like how you call it the distortion field. I think that's a really dynamic and powerful way to say it. And this is a whole other topic. This is a whole show. You know, because there is part of my awakening as a man has had to, I am part of that male patriarchy. I mean, I have a relationship to it. I mean, one could say we all have a relationship to it, but as a white privileged man, I do have a more significant relationship to it than, say, you do. And there's a certain embarrassment and shame. And you're right, we don't want to go into paralysis. As a love coach, I'm always working with people. What's your self-talk? Because if our self-talk is self-judgmental, we trigger our reptile brain and we go into the freeze reaction. So you're right, we don't want to freeze, but there is a certain step of mourning the pain of the past. Anyway, there's all sorts of wonderful messages to you. We're going to go to your website in a moment, but I want to read some of the messages that have come in from our wonderful audience, all of which are kind of inspired by you, my dear. Diara writes, let's clear any shame while we take responsibility for what we are healing. Beautifully put, Diara. Carol Craig says, right on. I love men. No need to blame. We just need to get it together and do better. Eleanor Joy writes, for our walking group today, the rain held off until the end of the walk. Whichever way it goes, being in the forest was a beautiful, deep, rich experience. DR also wrote, it hurts to hear deprecation of the male men when we discuss patriarchy. Thank you, Reya. Reya saved me. Reya to the rescue. Thank you. Reverend Jeffrey Colbrook writes, I'm so happy to be back in my garden with spring breaking here in central New York. Scotty Satori says, yes, I was also outside most of the day. It just got better and better, warmer and warmer. Loved it with beautiful views from the ranch. Susan Bloomquist writes this, I think, a little bit to what you were saying earlier. Reciprocation is a way to live. Perhaps that would change many things. And Darina Joy wrote an acrostic poem for our beloved Earth. So the acronym being Earth: embrace, activate, regenerate, transform, harmonize. So again, E would be embrace, A would be activate, R would be regenerate, T would be transform, H would be harmonize. And then people just loved your music. Tatiana said, so beautiful. I love the prayer and invocation of the song, deeply resonant for me. And many, many comments from people appreciating your beautiful music. We actually have a question. We're already over time. Sorry, kids, it's going to be a longer show because we've got 6 amazing women. But here's a good question from Thomas. What is the source of the distortion field?
That's a great question. I think more importantly, what is the source of the natural law that comes from the divine? Because any inquiry we're in, the universe goes to open the way for that. Anything we focus on expands that in our life. Right now, that's part of how the distortion field lays its claim, is it's very confusing. So we're all trying to figure out what happened and why did it happen. Where when we can look to nature, nature is whole, it's complete. There's no question about that. So I would invite us to look to the source of truth, where we can feel it under our feet, where we can experience it through human kindness, and then the distortion field fades, which is ultimately what we desire. We're not combating anything here.
I just love the way you express yourself.
Hmm.
So she mentioned the Songkeeper School, and to find all things Reya Manna is her website, which is her name, Reya, Reya Manna with two N's, Manna. And if you go to events, you will see that she's got her Songkeeper.
Keeps us a little bit from.
People, please mute. Everybody needs to be muted because we don't want to hear anybody other than what we've got the spotlight on. So when is your next Songkeeper School? Oh my God, it just started.
We just started one. This is a very special cohort where we are singing to the lands of the UK, Europe, and the Middle East. And we are singing to restore the holiness, restore the sacredness to the ground beneath our feet. So the land holds story, the land holds memory. And in these places, this energy has been so highly charged for so long. And so we're singing the light, we're singing the purity into the land using the ley lines of the earth. In particular, there's a ley line that runs from the tip of Ireland through the tip of England, through France, Italy, Greece, Turkey, right to Israel. It's called the St. Michael ley line, and it's marked with temples or monasteries to St. Michael all along it. And St. Michael's depicted as this angel with a sword standing on a dragon, defeating it. Interesting that another name for ley lines, the energy lines of the earth, are the dragon lines. What we know is that many of these sacred sites, these places where there's a crisscross of the energy lines of the earth, they are powerful portals. They're power portals that have been taken over by each conquering civilization. The pagans built a monument, then somebody came, conquered them, built a monument on the same spot, so on and so forth. So some of these energy lines have been taken over to fuel certain agendas, certain stories. So we're singing to those energy lines. We're singing to certain locations to pour light through the planetary grid, to liberate those places where the energy may have been stuck. We're singing to our own ancestral lines to liberate those places in our family story where there may have been abuse and trauma. So it's very potent work that we're doing right now. And just for 8 weeks, we just started. If anyone would like to join us in singing to the earth, every person who's added expands the field exponentially.
Wow. Thank you so much.